everybody. This is Marla Martenson, and you are watching another episode of Conversations with Cupid. I'm super excited today because I've been waiting to do this interview all year. I'm with my... I've got the beautiful Katt Lowe with me. Hello, Katt.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Katt is also in Los Angeles, and she is my Reiki Master. I was attuned in Reiki through Katt, and she's also a certified hypnotherapist, Reiki Master, certified Master Therapeutic Imagery Facilitator. She does past life regression, handwriting analysis. She's a reconnective healer. I got the reconnection through her too, so we'll have to talk about that. Qigong practitioner, teacher, pranic healer, and meditation teacher. I talk to these people that do all these wonderful things, and I just love it because no longer do we just do one thing.
Right, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So
including musician. So yeah, crazy.
So Katt, really, as we spoke, I want to have this conversation for people who maybe don't know what Reiki is or have heard of it but aren't sure, or, should they get involved in this or what can it do for them? So just tell everybody what it is.
Okay, so really Reiki is life force energy, okay? But we've heard it in many different levels. So Reiki's history, as far as what most people understand, is about less than 100 years, okay? So since 1922 when Master Usui brought it, Mikao Usui. But before that, you also have Qigong, which has over 5,000 to 7,000 years worth of history. You also have pranic healing, and each one of them, whether you hear Reiki, Rei is spiritual, Ki is actual energy. Then you have Qigong. Qi means life force energy. Gong means skill. Prana means life force energy. So you have all of these different modalities that really are offsprings of each other, and in some ways I believe offsprings of Qigong, which is the oldest history that we have, 5,000 to 7,000 years. But Reiki, the difference between Reiki and everything else is that you can do hands-on. So you learn how to do hands-on, but you can also do hands-off. And a lot of times people like to think that you're not supposed to do hands-on, hands-off. But with Reiki, you can do both, especially when you're going to put your hands in certain places they don't belong. You go above, as you know. So
the root chakra.
Right, exactly. Yeah, hands off. So unless it's with your partner. So that being said, Reiki is a very powerful tool, and what it's doing is helping to clear your life force energy. So you are energy. Everything is energy, and what keeps this body that we are inhabiting moving is life force energy. So it's our goal when we do Reiki is to help that person's energy become clear so that they can raise up their vibration and have more energy, you see, so that they feel better. So I guess the best way to put this is when we decide to leave the planet, our life force energy leaves the body. And so even though, as you know, in my beliefs, we're not ever totally dead, we no longer inhabit the body that helped us get around on the planet. So Reiki is just a very powerful tool that is now being used in hospitals. They're also doing it during surgeries now, where somebody is behind the head actually sending energy to keep their life force energy alive. And the belief is when your energy becomes stagnant, you become ill. So wherever that energy is in your body that you become stagnant, they believe, whether it's cancer or other different illnesses that happen, it's because the Chinese believe, the Japanese believe, even and the pranic healers believe that that's because your energy has become stagnant. And so our job is to help them understand how to move it through them, as well as to do it for them, especially when they're too tired to do it for themselves.
Well, and I was reading in a book about Reiki recently, because you're talking about the 1920s, but, there's a lot of talk of Jesus being in India. We don't know much about his life. We know only a few years of his life. And they say he was in India training in these modalities. And that's when he came back, he was able to heal, and he was actually doing Reiki and Buddha as well. So that's going back that far.
Yes, no, absolutely. So the only documentation they have is when Master Usui brought it back. Okay, so just as we may have had many lives, as I believe, I'm sure Reiki's been around since the Egyptian times. No matter what name you put on it, whether it's Reiki or Qigong or pranic healing, or and they keep coming up with new ones to really say the same thing. Yes, I believe that Jesus, used it, but it's life force energy.
Right.
But
Yes.
but the difference between all of them, outside of the facts that Reiki is hands-on, it doesn't mean that you can't do Qigong hands-on or any of the other modalities, but Reiki's known for hands-on, is that you can get attuned to that particular frequency. And so when I teach Reiki classes, as you know, I will attune you to Reiki. So a lot of the belief is that unless you're attuned, then to Reiki, you can't really use Reiki. You won't have the Reiki frequency. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Well,
it's not.
I will say this: when I was in your first class, level 1, because we did a level 1, 2 in a weekend, I remember all of a sudden feeling my hands buzzing.
Yes.
And I said and you had us get a partner and touch each other, put our hands on the shoulders, and I mean, ever since then, my hands always are. Oh, I feel the energy in my hands, and then of course I've been attuned to more things, by more teachers and more attunements, and that's opened me up to be able to communicate with angels and a lot of things until I did this attunement. So, and I feel the energy in my body. I feel it, and I didn't before.
Right.
So
right, yes, no, I believe that you do need to be attuned to it. But say, when people try to say you can't access it, well, if you don't access Reiki, you're accessing life force energy no matter what. There's no way not to, because that's what you are. And that's why, as you know, I like to also teach people Qigong, because I think that Qigong is really powerful, so they learn how to move the energy through themselves as well. But you learn that in Reiki as well. So yes, I do believe that when you attend a class, you actually get your hands activated, and it's really powerful. And as you know, a lot of them have a lot of experiences, third eye wise, like awakenings that happen. And once you become attuned to Reiki, your life shifts in wonderful ways. Yeah, it shifts in wonderful ways.
And then there are symbols, Reiki symbols that you have to learn that you do.
Yes.
Yes. So tell us just briefly about the symbols.
Okay, so the symbols are sacred, and they're not meant to be, and unfortunately you can see them online and what have you now, but they're meant to be sacred. You're not supposed to put tattoos of them on you, or have a coffee mug with it, or draw them, or put them on your car, or what have you. They're meant to be sacred and to honor what Reiki is. And they have different meanings. So the symbols, when we draw the symbols over somebody, one, it really is about your intention as to what this is. Like, one will be more of the power symbol, one is more of the emotional symbol. So one, it helps you to focus your mind. But the belief is when you draw the symbols, it opens a new door of that energy for that specific, symbol. So whether it's the power symbol or the emotional symbol or the long distance, if you want to do long distance healing, which is very powerful, either way, they do work. But, there can be controversy about the science too, but it's just an old tradition, ancient tradition, I believe, that we pass on, that is very sacred. So you learn when you draw the symbols, and when you start to meditate with the symbols and feel them yourself, you'll start to get to know it more, So I do feel more energy come into it when I do that.
And then Reiki can do no harm. I mean, I know people might say, "Oh, can this hurt me? Can this mess something up?" And it's just energy flowing through, and it's not our own. So the practitioner, if I'm giving Reiki, it's not my energy. It's coming through the top of the head, right? Or say how that works.
So, there's a little different ways of saying it. I like for people, yes, you can feel it from the head, from the heart, but really that's kind of you opening up. I like to see it that it's like shining down onto your hands, you see, so that you're bringing it that way. Because it's never, and that's some of the things that people misunderstand, it's never your energy. So it can be coming through you, but at that time it's not your energy. It's the energy from the universe, from God, whatever you want to call it, is coming through you, through your hands, and to the client. But again, they call us Reiki healers, but we're not really the healers. It's really the client, because it's the client that is accepting the healing. So I always like to give that to them, you know. So
Yeah,
it's
because
such a
somebody asked
huge
me, well,
theme.
I think there's a concern. What if the person doing it has bad mojo energy or is in a bad whatever? But that can't. So I could get harmed because of depends on the person. You got to have somebody that studied it. For somebody else told me, yeah, but you had to study it for years and years and years, or um,
Right.
so
I don't worry about that really. It's because it's not their energy. If
right,
their intention at that time is to help you to receive a healing.
exactly.
So, you know, and as I taught in class, may they receive the healing they're meant to receive.
Yes.
Thank you for allowing me to be your healing instrument. So we're just the vessel that is moving the energy through,
Right.
but it's not our energy. So that would take that away. It's
Yes.
coming from the universe, you know. And if you believe, as I do, you're calling in your angels and your spirit guides to be a part of this magnificent experience, and to, you know, I consider it an honor to be able to work with people and to do that. Then there can be no harm. There is no harm ever done. You can't hurt a person with Reiki. No.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, and you mentioned hospitals. I have a friend who's the head Christian chaplain over at Cedar Sinai, Peggy Kelly, and they sent her and paid for her to become a Reiki master, and because they are using it in hospitals now, and it reduces the effects of chemotherapy. It helps people stay calm. It helps. It's wonderful.
Yes, when people walk into my office, they literally can have, I see energy. So they can somewhat have like a grayness, you know, like a gray cloud over them is the best way to put it. And they're down, or, you know, they're having a hard time. That's why they booked the session. And so by the time they leave, they're glowing and they feel amazing. And some of the things that you experience while during Reiki is magnetic, heat, coolness, tingly, you know, sensations. You feel lighter. You can just feel your body open up. You know, every single session is really powerful. But the same thing goes with the classes. Like, you know, as you know, I do 1 and 2, you know, on the weekend. So when I actually, when I attune them on Saturday, some of them walk into class and you're like, I wonder if they really like the class or how they're doing, and they seem a little shut down. And then on Sunday, when they come in the morning, that's why I love doing these classes together. When they come in the morning, they're like, hi, you know, and they're all bubbly and they're shining, and it awakens them. It brings them back to themselves, who they really are at the core.
And we can do Reiki on ourselves. I mean, you got rid of a cyst that you had yourself. Correct?
I did. Thank you. Yes. I always guess it's about 9 years ago now. For years, Cedars actually documented my cysts on my ovaries. I had one the size of a baseball and lots of little ones, and for 12 years. And so finally, my doctor said, Katt, they got to come out. And at that time, it was really scary because I didn't know if I had cancer. I didn't know if I was going to have a hysterectomy or a partial hysterectomy. And I really was planning to go full time into my practice. So it could be almost 10 years now. And I had really good insurance. So I said, okay. So I always say East meets West is the best when it comes to healing. So I was a little bummed that I hadn't handled it myself, you know, all this time. And but I agreed, and I wanted to speed it up so that I could leave my other job. And so we did it within 3 weeks. So I had 3 weeks to get rid of them. Wow. And what I did was every single day, I literally just worked on myself with Reiki and with Qigong. And I remember at some point in my living room, I can remember the exact moment where I said, I better leave a little something behind because they're never going to believe it, right? So my mom and dad came down during the surgery to bring me home and take care of me afterwards. And so they're in the waiting room for me as I'm in recovery. And the doctor comes out and literally shows them a picture of my insides and said, there's nothing wrong with her. She shouldn't have been here. And yeah, it was crazy. And my dad actually said, my mom told me this, my dad actually said, no, you guys have had this documentation for 12 years. She did this. She's a healer. And I was like, Dad said that, Mom? You know, so he actually knew I had to have done this. And the little something I left behind, I had a little bit of endometriosis just on the side of one of my ovaries. I still have that picture.
Yeah.
And I just recently was rescanned, and they're still nothing. I mean, they were like perfect shiny ovaries, and I should have had marks on them because the one that burst, the baseball that burst, grew back.
Mm-hmm.
And so I used to have the most painful cramps ever since it started. And so there should have been some scarring from all of the cysts being on there for so long. And I didn't know back then that their ovaries are really only like the size of almonds.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it's quite fascinating. Yeah, just a little bit bigger than almonds. So to have something the size of a baseball on an ovary is really bad.
And didn't you heal your mother too, or help her? Was your mother sick?
No, with my mom
or a friend or something. Somebody close that you told a story in class that, or maybe it was your own healing.
I helped. No, yeah, with my mom, she had kidney cancer, but with the kidney, it took away the cancer, and so what I did there was. I just helped her through. She loves to receive energy, and she literally will start to move like this when I do it. But she also was very open for me to do some guided, meditation, which is also known as hypnosis. So I would make her these CDs that she loves to listen to. But she loves energy. She loves when I come and do it. But she actually got, she was fine. They removed the kidney. Thank God they removed the cancer. So, I'm very lucky in that area, or should I say all of us kids are very lucky.
Yes.
But with other people, I have helped, but again, I like to say that I'm not really the healer they are. Mm-hmm. I have helped them as far as they have shrunk. The tumors will shrink. So the doctors have said they shrunk, and it's easier for it to go away. So I've seen things like that, but I've also been able to help them along as far as with chemo, like you said, you help to ease all of the symptoms. Mm-hmm. And I've seen different healings happen, but each person, it's up to them to keep it up, as far as how that works. Does that make sense?
So they'll come. So how many, let's say you have some issue, and then you come to a person and get Reiki. How many times should you go back? Should you go ahead and get attuned yourself so you can start doing it on yourself, because maybe it's too expensive for them to keep going every other week or something?
Yes. I like to say that for me, I like to teach them, as you know. I love to teach them how to do it for themselves, because you don't want them to wind up relying on you, so I want to empower them to learn how to work on themselves. And of course, it's wonderful even for me to sit back and allow somebody else to do it, and not be in my head so much about it sometimes. So what I will do is teach them how to do Reiki on themselves. I'll teach them how to do Qigong. Was that the question?
Yes, yeah, like how, because maybe you can't just keep affording to go, or maybe you don't, or you just want to, how often should you be getting it?
Oh, how often should you be coming back? So I personally won't I let them come once a week if that's what they need. And some people, I've been having them for years that want to come once a week, and they're not even ill, but it's kind of like their time to get a massage, but instead it's Reiki. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for them, that's good. And for people who are sick as well, I still just do once if they need to come twice. But I really try to empower them that they can do it for themselves too, to show them. So I also do a mixture of Reiki and then the guided meditations, because the mind is so powerful that's another way to help you to let it go. So it's not always just Reiki, but it's also the power of the mind. Like for my ovaries, for example, it's literally imagining my ovaries cleared, that energy, because all a cyst is, all cancer is, it literally is a different form of energy that you hopefully can find a way to release. Sometimes it's going to work, and sometimes it's not. It just depends on what their life path is.
Because all sickness starts in the energy field.
Yes, absolutely.
So when people say, "Oh, I just got this," I don't know what happened, or if somebody has, a thyroid issue or something comes up or a tumor, it didn't just appear like magic. Oh, too bad, I got that. I had bad luck. It's something that had been going on in their energy field for many years, probably, right?
Yes, and I'm not like some people that I respect their thing too. It's not always to me a body syndrome like everybody else says, or a lot of people say. Sometimes it really is in your DNA. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there are things that like some people can have. if cancer runs in their family, they do have it. I mean, science has proven it. They do have a specific cell. So with that specific cell, they want to be careful about allowing carcinogenics into their body, you know, because they know well, cancer runs in my family, in my mom's side, my dad's side. So I know that I do need to be careful with the foods that I eat, that because I have that possibility that something can happen. To where lung cancer is a perfect example. Somebody who has cancer in their family can smoke and get lung cancer, but somebody else who doesn't can smoke till the end of their time and never had a lung problem. So I think it's a little bit of both. So, you know, Reiki is one thing, but it's also the foods that we eat. You know, I always like to say the things that affect your energy are the foods that we eat, the thoughts that we think, the company that you keep, because you get your energy vampires, which is known as the people who drain you when you're around them. And the energy. So it's the thoughts you think, the food that you eat, and the company that you keep, and the air that you breathe, and liquids you put into your body. So it has to be a balance of all of that in order for us to heal.
Right. And you do something else called the reconnection. You're a reconnective healer, which you did attune me to that. And so just touch on that a little bit, what that is. And, you know, I got both. So I was like on an attunement kick for a while.
Yeah, it's wonderful, right? But what did it blow you wide open, right? So that's a good thing. So the reconnection is another way, I guess the best way, just to touch on it, is to put you on your accelerated highway. It's the only other energy initiation that I'm aware of that's out there, or that I have done. And I have taken so many different modalities, right? I can't say, and I will not say, that it is better than Reiki, as some tout, you know, and say. It's just another frequency. So once you're attuned to it, it's always running through you. And it did change my life, though. You know, that's how I started, was with the reconnection, and then moved into Reiki, and then moved into Qigong, and then moved into pranic healing, which is another great modality. But ultimately, I went right back to Reiki and Qigong, you know, ultimately. But I love to reconnect people. It's a very powerful initiation. It takes 2 days to do, as you know, 2 visits. And yeah, it's an amazing modality as well. But it is, you know, he likes to say that it is better than Reiki and or any other modality. It's not. It's life force energy.
He,
you know,
meaning the person that kind of brought it to
created it. Yes, but in all honesty, it's like how I try to explain different frequencies for people is to understand star 98.7, you know, you dial your radio to, and then maybe 102.7 Kiss FM, right?
Okay.
So we're tuning into those different frequencies, just like, I think the best way to explain that is people really don't think about how right now you and I are able to talk, or how the little guy and girl got into the TV, or how we can even listen to the radio. It's all moving through frequencies. Yes. It's all different frequencies. We're moving through these frequencies all the time. So it's the same thing. So we are able to tune in to Reiki frequency, or reconnective frequency, or just full-on life force energy.
Right. See, this is the part that a lot of people that haven't heard of this or been exposed to this might say, wait, come on, what are you talking about? A lot of people are used to, if you can't see it, it's not there. They wouldn't even think of that. But there's there's other dimensions. So we're on the 3rd dimension, and then there's the 4th, 5th, you know, and that's where the angels are up there, 7th dimension and higher. And there's frequencies that we get attuned to, and that's something that maybe it's hard to wrap our minds around sometimes. So because you can't see it, but there is that Kirlian, is it Kirlian photography? That a Russian doctor developed. And you can actually see the energy field, and that's when they take your auras, and then there have been photographs of the Reiki energy coming from the hands.
Absolutely.
So it's not, because somebody can say, yeah, well, you're standing there, what's happening? But we can feel it, and then it can be photographs with a special.
Absolutely, and we can see it. I mean, did you see it in class when I showed you guys?
Oh yeah, the energy thing. Yeah, the energy.
Yeah, I've always been able to see energy, so. What happens is I can always see it around, you know, around your head. I can see it when people walk. It does depend on the lighting. I can see their energy follow them. but I've been able to do that since I was a kid. And so some people can see 7 to 10 feet out. I generally see about, I don't know if you can see my hands, but a couple feet out.
Yeah.
But I can also show them during my sessions. I always show them how to see it come off my hands, and it just blows their mind. It's real, and you can touch it, but it's not. But there's no way, nobody's ever walked out of my office or out of my class and not felt the energy. And I think that's what's amazing. It is real. And, that's what acupuncturists are doing. Acupuncturists are literally working within our meridians, and they can tell where your energy is blocked. So they're using little needles. And I've had it done, and acupuncture is nice, but I personally love to receive an energy healing better, and we're somewhat doing the same thing. Not completely. I have a lot of great respect for acupuncturists and all the training that they receive. But for me, I much prefer actual Reiki, and feeling Reiki or any form of energy healing.
And I mix my sessions when I give someone a session with crystals, because I got certified in crystal healing too, which I love to do that. And the energy's coming off the crystals too, so, which, everything's energy.
Right.
Yeah, so that's fun.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, crystals are very powerful as well.
I even sleep with a different crystal every night.
Yeah, they help to magnify the energy also. So even if you have it in your hands while you're using it, it helps to magnify the energy. Yeah, it's powerful. And you can program them.
Yes, you got to cleanse and program and put your intention. And yeah, I saw a documentary last night about crystals and how they literally hold energy and transmit. Okay. That's why they use it for computers and for phones and watches and everything, because they do hold information.
Right. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Everything's so great. Well, Katt, thank you so much for sharing. We're going to talk again, and we'll discuss some other modalities. So people, leave your comments below, and if you have any questions for Katt, leave them there, and we'll ask her on our next video.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye.